So welcome back everyone, and a big apologize for that disturbance. Unfortunately our Microsoft Windows crashed the PC, so that's why the live stream ended, and you should hopefully all have a new live stream link so that you can join. Julia just sent it via email, but I think also Pascal posted it directly in the live stream, so I hope that everybody's back joining. Big apologies. We wanted to follow on with feedback from Mr. Kawai from RMV. Unfortunately, he cannot make it right now anymore, but I'm sure we'll capture all the feedback then afterwards. So that's why we kind of follow on our normal structure and agenda, which we had planned. So we'll go to our third team, which is, okay. So now the slides clicking is not working. Okay, maybe Julia can quickly click. Thank you. Okay, so moving on to our next team, which is the charging community grid, and I'm there with handing over to Georg from the team. So enjoy, have fun, and it will be quite exciting. Yeah. Okay.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Connectra, the community grid. In order to dive into the topic of e-mobility a bit more, we want to start with some number playing. Plus 100%. This is not only the surplus in toilet paper sales in Germany in 2020, but it also stands for the development of e-cars on German roads. As of in the end of 2019, there were only 200,000 electric cars on German roads. In the end of 2020, they doubled to 400,000. So we can see there were quite a few people who have bought an electric car last year. But actually, there were even more people who didn't buy an electric car due to a number of good reasons. And one of the most important reasons was the lack of a sufficient charging infrastructure in Germany. As of today, there's only one charger or every 25 cars. And this ratio might even worsen in the future, as the growth rate of public chargers in Germany was only 25% compared to 100% of the electric cars. And if you then think of the average charging time of 4 hours it takes to fully charge an electric car, you can see there is a big challenge to come in order to push electric mobility further on. A recent survey among Germans has found out that actually 2/3 of Germans would prefer to charge their electric car either close to their home or at their own house. And as of today, there's only every 20 kilometers a public charger. So again, we can see if we really want to push electric mobility, we need a sufficient charging grid. We want to illustrate those numbers a bit better by going into a small example. Please imagine Ingo and Greta, who both live in an average countryside town in Germany with about 20,000 inhabitants. Actually, the kind of living conditions 35 million people in Germany live in. Both would like to buy an electric car, but the next public charger in this case is 30 kilometers away. So what to do? Let's start with Ingo. Ingo has a small family house, and actually, because he's a lot into sustainability and green energy, he put solar power on his roof 20 years ago. Unfortunately, this year, the EEG subsidies he receives of the German government are decreasing and will be ever more decreasing in the years to come. So he goes like, maybe an electric car might be a very good follow-up investment for my solar power. He does some research on the internet, and actually he found out it's a bit more complicated to install a private charger than he thought in the first place, because you have to choose the correct hardware, you have to find an electrician who installs it in the end. And also, Ingo has heard about the possibility to apply for subsidies at the KfW in Frankfurt, but he doesn't really know how to do that. And last but not least, he also thinks he can only afford one car, and he thinks like, maybe one charger for just one car sounds like a kind of inefficient resource allocation also in monetary terms. On the other hand, we have Greta, who lives just a few hundred meters down the road, and obviously facing similar challenges. There's no public charging infrastructure in her town. But as she's living in a housing complex, she doesn't even have the space to install her own wallbox or private charger. As she's usually following a greenish lifestyle and would also like to commute in a green way, but there's no public transport, and also the distances in the countryside are too large to go by bike. She really needs an electric car. So an ideal solution here would be to bring those two people together. And this is where Connectra comes into play. Connectra, in a first step, will help Ingo to set up his private charger by supplying him with the hardware, sending him an electrician, and also supporting him in applying for the subsidies, this way offering Ingo a turnkey solution. Also, the renewables Ingo is producing on his roof can be used efficiently, and Ingo can sell his solar power electricity at 2 to 4 times the price he would get if he would sell it just to the normal electricity grid. And this way he will be compensated for the EEG losses he will be experiencing in the years to come. After having installed the hardware, Ingo can go back to Connectra app and click on supply. In the next step, he can specify a time window when he would like to open his charger to third parties like Greta. So going back to Greta, she also needs to download the Connectra app, but obviously in her case, she clicks on demand. In the next step, she will be displayed a small map of her town. The blue point is where Greta lives, and the closest charging stations. Also, Ingo's charger plops up, but there's also information about the price Ingo is charging. Actually, this is not an issue Greta thought about in the first place, but many customers who are using public chargers today complain about rather intransparent pricing scheme. So this is also a problem Connectra wants to tackle also just from the beginning onwards. So in the end, as we can see on the left-hand side, Greta and Ingo can jointly charge their cars at Ingo's house just a few hundred meters walking distance from where Greta lives. So both are being connected to the most innovative grid network in Germany, Connectra. And this idea is actually brought to you by our amazing team. On the left-hand side, you see our techie, Martin, or tech guy as we call it. On the right-hand side, our product designer or business rockstar. And in the middle, you see myself, a so-called chaos engineer, Georg. And yeah, thank you so much for watching today. We're looking very much forward to your feedback and hopefully also to future cooperation. And now the floor is open to any questions that are out there. Thank you.
Okay. Wow, amazing pitch, especially after that chaotic setup and start. So thank you very much for Connectra team and everyone and Georg. So great stuff. We have 2 feedback givers now, and I think they're the most perfect one you can ever imagine, because as you know and see below, one of our corporate partners is also the Minova, so the producer of energy. So we have 2 people, hopefully soon too. Yes, we do. Perfect. Hi, Björn. So we have, once we have Alexander Hege there with us from Minova, and he's the head of strategy and innovation. So I think that's perfect match. And then we have an additional perfect match because we have Björn Detlefsen with us, who is the CEO from ChargeMaker. So ChargeMaker is the one kind of giving advice and consulting on how you can build up your loading station. So I think we have the perfect partners now on stage to give first feedback and some, I guess also I think good insights to the team on how you perceived the idea of Connectra. So over again to Georg.
So can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Ah, perfect. So first of all, if I could start, I have to say, when I look at the team, and normally when you look at kind of such pitches and you have to look at the team, it's fantastic. I really have to say, one of the last slides about the team, it's great. I think you are definitely the right team for that challenge. And second, I have to say, the challenge you have described is really, I mean, it's really there. Definitely, I think it's very well described, and we need to do something about that. And definitely, I believe the business model, is something which is really something which you need to dive into. I would like to make one remark with regards to how you can tackle the problem a bit deeper, maybe. In the past, I've made very good experience with. I don't know if you have used that as well during your analysis phase, value proposition canvas, because I think you described Ingo and Connectra very well as kind of the customers. I think when you look at especially topics like infrastructure for Ingo and how he can really help Connectra with his infrastructure, it's not so easy, and you really have to look much more into detail about pains of Connectra and maybe also pains of Ingo and how you bring them really together. That's one short remark, and happy to discuss it also with you tomorrow in the deep dive session. Over to you, Björn.
Thanks, Alex. First of all, I think you challenged two, or at least two big points of the e-mobility in the future. First of all, is you have how can we provide enough charging infrastructure for the rising or growing electric vehicle market? That's very good that you thought about this one. The other point that you might find a solution is that you provide decentralized renewable energy for the to charge the cars, and you relieve the grid relieve the public grid. That's another point that is really interesting in your idea. According to Alex, I have two questions maybe that you take with you in order to find approach to that problem. Is first of all, customer needs. That's I think you have to go more in detail and find the pain points, and also the drivers. Why should a user and the provider of the charging station go into that kind of model? On the other hand, I think there is a question if you. One of the big pillars is to use the renewable energy from the house owner. I think you have to overcome the problem if the charging infrastructure is in times where the sun is not shining, because you have to provide you have to charge the cars as well if the PV system is not running. How can you do that? And according to that, if this is a business model for the provider, or if one driver is to gain a little business out of this for the provider, for the house owner, where are the profit drivers for the provider? I mean, where should the kind of money for the whole system come from in that model? I think these are main questions that have to be solved within the challenge.
Thank you so much, Alexander.
So far from me.
Yeah, I think we're looking forward a lot to the deep dive we have tomorrow with you guys, and this is a perfect opportunity to discuss those questions a bit more into detail. We have already thought about some of those points, of course, in the group, but we thought there was not enough space here to name all of them. So, but yeah, I'm happy, well, we're all happy to discuss this more into detail with you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for your feedback so far.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you both. Fantastic. That was good. So we're all looking forward for more details. So we're following with our next team. And the next team is also, I think, quite comes with the trends, intermodal. And the next team is looking into intermodal fleet management. So how you can make your fleet management more flexible in that regard. So I'm happy to hand over to Dominic now for the team Chris. So over to you, Dominic.
Thank you for the nice introduction. Hello there. So we are Chris, and now we're talking about fleet management. So what do you do when you're sick? You probably go to the doctor, right? And what do you do when you have to do your taxes? You hire a tax consultant. But what if your company needs some fleet optimization? Well, you ask your fleet manager, right? Well, in reality, it's not that easy, because when we talk about fleet managers, we often talk about someone like Karen. This is Karen. Karen is actually here to hire people, but she's also responsible for fire prevention, first aid, safety at work, and of course, she's also keeping up with all the vehicle needs her colleagues have to do their jobs. But this means she doesn't have the experience, time, or expertise to really think about fleet mobility in detail. So she doesn't know the ins and outs. So she doesn't know what the total lifetime cost of every vehicle option out there are, or what is the exact carbon footprint of her fleet. But dear Karen, it's not your main job, and you should not worry about it, because we got you covered. Exactly for this, we came up with Chris. So what is Chris? Chris is a digital fleet management tool that not only allows you to make your day-to-day operations easier, to optimize your expenditure based on your mobility demand, but also uncovers how you can be more sustainable with your fleet. And how do we actually achieve this? So first, Chris is the one platform where you can not only upload receipts in an easy way and also have your contract stored. This means you have all the data about your vehicles, from contracts to vehicle data, even to some damages that happen to them, in one easy place, and you can always access them. But on top of that, Chris also thinks about your fleet when you currently can't think about your fleet. So for example, if some important maintenance is coming up, or it's just time to switch to the winter tires, Chris will remind you about that and help you to make an appointment, so your fleet is always ready and your employees are always empowered to do what they have to do and to be where they have to be. But strategic decisions are not covered in there. This means that we also facilitate those strategic decisions, because those decisions are quite hard and require deep understanding, because there are some hard questions coming up there. So for example, should you take an electric car, a plug-in hybrid, a hybrid, or a diesel car? Or is it better to choose an automatic or a manual transmission? Or is a limousine or a wagon the better option? But how would someone like Karen, it isn't her main job, even know this? And this is where Chris comes in. Chris combines all this mobility complexity into one single tangible monetary number, and that allows you to not only optimize your vehicle mix without unnecessary cost, but also allows your employees to always have the right vehicle right there for their job. And on top of that, you can also control your leasing conditions, because Chris knows how many miles you have to put on your car in the next few years, and he also warns you when you maybe drove already 8,000 miles by June, but only allowed to drive 10,000 miles the whole year, and then easily lets you shift some tasks around to avoid some hefty extra cost. But the main thing why we came up with Chris is not about optimizing cost, because we strongly believe that the right decision is not only about cost, but also about being sustainable. And this means, in our belief, that we test to frame sustainability not as something that you have to do and have to achieve. It has to be some kind of success story, something you really want to achieve, something you urge for. And therefore, we created an easy dashboard that where you can see how good you are, how your impact currently is, and where you can improve. But that doesn't mean you have to really be there, but it's more an opportunity to see where maybe an electric vehicle, like we just learned, it's not easy to charge them. Where does it make sense? So for small city trips, for example, or even where alternative mode of transportations like the train or some ride-hailing service may be even better for your employees to do their job and to create a really multi-mobile fleet for the first time. And of course, on top of that, you can also see how you compare to others and reduce your carbon footprint per vehicle and overall, and frame it as your success story. And now on to the team that makes all this possible. We are a multicultural team with various and diverse backgrounds. This enables us to excel over the whole story to redefine fleet mobility. Starting with Vivian, he has in-depth experience on the technical and business side of the automotive and mobility industry, and is empowered by someone like Myra, who really knows the in and outs of user-driven design and research, and helps us to understand who our customer is and how we can really get to them to frame their mobility as a success story. And Carl, with his insights of behavioral economics, allows us to prototype and innovate effectively and aids me to build a successful and sustainable business on top of all of that. So that's what we bring to the table. And now we're really looking forward to be joined by you and to make a product that's not only maybe needed by Karen, but that's something that she really wants. Thank you.
Applause as well. Thank you very much to the Chris team in the intermodal fleet management. Quite exciting. So now, and I hope perfect, we have Giuseppe back. That's good to see you back in. That was the plan. We have now Giuseppe with us for the next two feedbacks, so the one for the current team and also then the last one. So quite curious to listen in to Giuseppe's feedback. So over to you, Dominic.
Hi. Thank you for taking time.
Hi, Dominic. Hi to the whole Chris team. Thank you very much. I'm super excited about your presentation. So well done. I have just one question to you. I mean, honestly, we do see that there is some that there are some hassles within the, let me say, the scope of a fleet manager. So very well framed, at least for the small companies. But what I did not understand well, probably I missed it, sorry for that, is the fleet manager itself, despite the scope of having some other things to look after, are very much, how do you say, focused on the cost part. So I've seen in your solution many other aspects, like the sustainability aspect and the footprint aspect and the comparison to other drivers. But what I've not seen is the cost aspect, or did I miss it?
Yeah, we thought about that, and actually right before talking about sustainability, we also believe that cost is a crucial factor to get also those people on board and to offer them like a strategic value within the product or the service. So that should be, in our vision, be like one tangible measure. So especially for smaller companies that don't have someone who has the expertise and they don't have the money to pay someone thousands of euros every month to be really an expert about fleet mobility, we believe that those really need one tangible monetary cost measure, and to really break it down and help them also understand the cost. Because right now, from our perspective, those small companies right now, they maybe try to reduce cost, but they don't know where to start. Because it's hard to compare all those different options out there, even especially today, and there are new options coming up. There isn't only a car there anymore, and there isn't only the option of taking the train as an alternative. So we think to really condense it and hope to be able to do that in one cost measure that allows them to understand the real cost of every option out there, and then optimize their fleet accordingly, and of course be challenged and also empowered to also frame it in a sustainable way, because we believe as well, all those people are also just persons, and the most persons in Germany or in Europe at least, they aspire to be green, but they don't know how. And we think that's also a nice opportunity to help them to also live their beliefs in their job, because we believe that it's not only important here, but to wrap it up, it's probably also about getting out there, really understanding who the Karens or Peters or whoever doing fleet management right now are, and what really makes them tick. And so we're really excited to also have you along on the journey and then understand who they are and what they really need, and then create a product that fulfills our vision along with their needs.
Okay, this certainly would be the next step, and try to understand what the need really is. But I from my experience, at least in the fleet area, my recommendation is to have a really serious look into how we can, or you guys as a solution can come up with something which puts the cost factor at the center of this project, because this is really a pain point for the fleet managers. And if we can make together with you make their life easier, and try to come up with something which really gives them the transparency, then I think it's a quite interesting project and the path to go.
Thank you for being on your side for this, and we're really looking forward that also you maybe can provide us with some more business insight there and to really put us in the shoes that we are maybe currently not in yet. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy to help you.
Yeah, perfect.
Well done.
Thanks. Thanks, team, Chris team, and everyone. So now we have the last team, and the last team is always same kind of difficult as the first team. So I'm asking for everyone on the stream now of full energy, and I promise you it will be like super exciting, because this is one of the teams who has an idea that is quite physical. Let's put it this way, and I think every one of us can relate to it. Either if you already have used maybe a scooter or not, but I'm sure there is like some good connect you can have. So topic of the team is like nano transport vehicle, and the team already has an amazing idea drilling down on nano transport. So I'm quite happy to hand over now to Teresa.
Yes. Thank you, Vanessa. So hello everyone, my name is Teresa, and I hope you're excited for one last project idea, because we definitely are. We are Pacelo, and we want to take micromobility journeys to the next level. But let's start at the beginning. And for this, I would like to take you on a quick mental journey. So imagine this. It's 6 p.m. and you're just walking out of the office. You've had a long and stressful day, and actually all that you want to do is just get home as quick and fast as possible. But on the way home, you actually still have to stop by at the supermarket because you need some groceries for dinner. And you were also planning on picking up a parcel at the post office. So in situations like these, wouldn't it be great to just have superpowers? Imagine being just like this guy, jumping on an available e-scooter and just taking all the stuff you have, no matter how much, and just let's go cruise home fast, smooth, and easy. Would be great, right? But yeah, in reality, sadly, we don't have this superpower. So, and let's be real also, like in reality, I'm giving this guy like 20 more meters till he falls and crashes. So not really ideal. So what we have realized is that there's actually a lack of transportation options to carry baggage on conventional e-scooters, or actually micromobility in general. So what we are seeing right now is that either people are actually testing their superpowers and putting baggage on existing e-scooters, but without them being secured, this is actually really dangerous. And actually, the first half of 2020, we were already seeing over 1,500 accidents in Germany related to e-scooters that led to serious injuries and were registered at the police. And this was actually lockdown time. So imagine what the number would have looked like if it was in lockdown and we weren't supposed to stay home, all out on the street. So option one, not really safe, do not recommend. But what else can you do when you have so much stuff and you're in the city? Well, you can take all your bags, try to like put them on your shoulders and carry them home. But if you have a lot of bags, it's gonna be heavy, and we all know that feeling. It's gonna hurt, it's gonna be uncomfortable. So also not ideal. So what else? Worst case, actually, people would turn back to their personal cars to transport their things. But then again, in the city, we would have crowd and urban spaces and also pollution. So from a sustainability perspective, also not really great. So thinking about all of this, we thought there must be something we can do about it. So how might we enable the people to transport their things in the city in a comfortable, safe, but also environmentally friendly way? And this is what we came up with. So we plan on designing an add-on module to transport your baggage on e-scooters. We want the component to be attached to the scooter, probably on the rail, and it will enable the people to transport their things whenever they need it. We also plan on it to be a quite strong and solid design. So whenever you have also heavy stuff, it's not going to affect the driving experience. So we really want to put the focus on the safety aspect here. But let's look more into detail. So first, we want to design it in a way that it can be attached to different types of scooters. So no matter the manufacturer, it can just be attached to the rail. Then also, it needs to be a space-efficient design. So when it is not in use, it actually is not in the way. So we plan to have it very compact, so it's almost not even visible when you don't need it. But then when you need it, you can just transform it into your module, meaning that you can unfold it and then it gives you all the space you need to put your packages or baggage or whatever you have. And the best thing, it's actually designed in a way that you have space to put various baggage. So different sizes and also different shapes, whatever you have with you at the moment. So overall, we plan on having a highly functional product that is very comfortable. But actually, where do we see it in the market? So in the bigger picture, we actually see that the e-scooter market is quite big and also growing fast. So in 2019, we already had a global e-scooter market size of 18.6 billion US dollars. But to be more specific, and maybe let's just look at Frankfurt, since we are at the moment located here. In Frankfurt in 2019, we had over 4,000 registered scooters already, and this number is also growing every day. And these scooters totaled up to almost 17,000 trips a day on e-scooters in Frankfurt alone. So that's actually a lot of micromobility journeys that we could have an impact on. But how do we actually plan to put the product to the market? So for now, we plan to target B2B. So we want to address the manufacturers of e-scooters, but also the operators of shared e-scooter services, meaning they can take our product and give it to their customers, meaning the people that are riding the scooters. In that way, they can actually add value for the existing customers by offering them a comfortable and safe way to ride scooters with baggage. And they can also attract new customers, meaning people that were not interested in e-scooters before due to the limited capacity to carry baggage. Yes, and last but definitely not least, this is the amazing team that's gonna make this happen. So first, we have Max, our amazing product manager. He actually has a lot of experience in product development and a background in industrial design. So he's gonna look over the entire product development process for us. Then we have Maxime. With his background in industrial engineering, he's gonna be our technical and business developer. Then we have Lucas. He has a background in transportation design, so he's actually bringing a lot of insights from that industry. And is going to be our design and sustainability expert on that one. And then we have me, I'm Teresa, and with my business background, I'm going to take care of the project management, and I'll also be responsible for the stakeholder management. So overall, we believe that we are a very diverse team and that together we have all the skill set that is needed, and most importantly, the shared passion to make change happen and also to make this product happen. So we are Pacelo, and we are going to take micromobility journeys to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa and team. Wow, amazing. Hopefully, as I promised, this was something completely different. And everybody liked it a lot. Great idea, great team. So I think we have, again, Giuseppe with us. And so I'm quite curious to hear what Giuseppe is going to talk about and tell. So I'm handing over back to you, Teresa, and the team to listen in the feedback from Giuseppe.
Teresa and team, I love it, honestly, because not only because it's different, but what I always say also to my team is that sometimes you have to find the very single need, and most of the times it's the most easy and simple solution. So I love it a lot. Honestly, I think it's an amazing project and a great idea. I like it. The only remark I would have is that you should think about the distribution model, because just offering it to the companies it's I mean, general speaking, it's I think the good a nice or the right approach. But the bigger question is, how do you want to build up the distribution model? So this would be a remark, but all in all, I have to say I love it because of its simplicity. Really well done. I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
No. Yes.
Perfect. I actually just
Did
said
you hear
thank
what I said?
I can also hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, I actually just said thank you so much for your feedback and also that advice you gave that we should look into the distribution model. That's actually also something we discussed in our team. We thought of starting with B2B because this is an easy scale up because we see a huge growth potential there. But of course, yeah, that's definitely going to be the next step, looking into like where exactly this is needed and how we gonna place it in the end. But thanks so far.
And look also at the design. It needs to be simple and slick and clear and cool. And, you know, just as the kick scooters, you have to, how do you say, forthright the product idea of the scooter, which is not an easy task, but I really love the idea and the solution. So very, very well done.
Thank you. And we have luckily 2 designers who are amazing in the sleek design aspect. So looking forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Yes. Thank you, Giuseppe, for spending time and giving feedback. Awesome. Really, really nice. I think lots of people are now getting excited and want to see this after the 3 months, right? So, and maybe hopefully then the team can bring it. So I'm kind of expecting that you bring it on stage, huh? For sure. So you need to have a good prototype. Wow, done. So done for the teams. I think they're going to celebrate a little bit now, or like at least getting excited. I think great job done. Giuseppe is also clapping hands. After 1.5 weeks, I think there's some really cool and great outcomes, and there's more to come in more depth. All right, so I'm coming to my kind of the second last topic on the agenda to round this up a little bit about how amazing the mission can be and what can happen even after the mission. And the best person to talk to and to share experience with us is Vivian Loftin. And Vivian is the co-founder of Recyda. And Recyda is one of the startups, like really startups, that got founded directly after the mission. We started with the mission in September 2019. We finished before the Christmas break, and then I think quite quickly, straight away afterwards, the team decided to found their own company and follow on working with the corporate partners they used to work with during the mission. And I have to say, I mean, we as Futury, but I'm also like extremely proud because September is quite some time. So we are like 1.5 years into now. And I cannot believe because Recyda is alive, Recyda is making good business, and Recyda is also hiring lots of people. But of course, as always, it looks also nice and beautiful and everything's fantastic. But also the team, they were struggling and had some topics to look into. So I'm very much looking forward. Here she is. Hey, Vivian.
Hi, Vanessa. Hi.
So good to see you. Unfortunately, we couldn't meet you last week because normally Vivian would have been on stage with us. But we had Chris, the other co-founder, so that was a good replacement. So I'm super happy to have you here today and that you talk a little bit about everything, the mission, your experiences, and what you're up to.
Thank you so much, Vanessa.
Over to
it's
you.
A pleasure to be here. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's also a pleasure to see the new teams pitch and feel the energy from them. I can already see there's a lot of potential. You have great teams again. I don't know how you managed to find all these talents, but you did a great job again. And thanks also for inviting me today. As you just mentioned, well, Recyda, we started more than 1.5 years ago. And actually, the Recyda GmbH is turning 1 year in a couple of days. So it's our first birthday soon. And what has happened during this time is crazy sometimes, I must say. When someone approaches me and asks me what I'm doing, I sometimes just say, if someone asked me, would have told me what I'm doing right now 2 years ago, I would have just not believed them. because it was really a great journey full of adventures, an amazing learning curve, but also very hard, tough moments, a lot of challenges. And I think I will just lead you through this journey a little bit and take you on board to show you how we lived the mission, how we started. And just to maybe give you an overview about what Recyda actually is, just in a few words, Recyda stands for Recyclability Database. And we design a software solution to help companies along the value chain to assess recyclability of packaging on an international level, so that more packaging actually can be recycled in the target markets and does not end up in landfill or is burned and harms the environment. And basically, that's also what we started with on the very first day. So we have not really changed our direction much. Everything, the basis of Recyda was really set in the first days. And we started, I think, with a very also unusual situation because we didn't know each other as a team. The first day we came together, Anna and Chris, my two co-founders, they knew each other from university, so they were used to working together, but then I was just matched on their team. And I think this was one of the biggest challenges, aligning your team, coming together, trusting each other, trusting also your skills, seeing what is your role in the team, what can you bring in. And this is something we really had to do first. But at the same time, we also had to prepare for the kickoff already, which was only 1 week after. And there we already had to pitch on stage. And I remember, I mean, you had this just now, you had this amazing feeling just now being on stage. And I know you must have been so nervous because you just step out and after just 1 week of developing a solution and present it to corporate partners, present it to real companies, present it to a huge audience and get feedback. And this moment is really amazing because I think when I think back of it, that was the moment when I was hooked from this whole startup world as well, where I felt it's amazing to be on stage. It's amazing to talk to those people, to talk to corporates, companies, to get feedback, to see also what value I can bring them, and have this energy also on stage, this adrenaline. It's really something special. And we did this. Actually, Chris went on stage, pitched in front of 200 people, and afterwards we talked to the corporate partners we were then working with for the next 3 months. And actually on Post-its, we designed Recyda. We designed Recyda on one piece of paper with the Post-its. And when we look at this now, we took a photo back then, it's still what it is now, just in a digital version, not on paper anymore. And after the kickoff, we also just saw how valuable it is to talk to the companies, to really have these iterations, have feedback sessions, and so on, to really make sure that we understand what their pain points are. As a startup, you're always confronted with this, with this challenge and perspective that you have not worked in this big corporate, that you do not experience what they are struggling with on a daily basis, also related to sustainability topics. It's not that easy to implement sustainable solutions. And that's what they are for. You have 3 months' time to get and understand their perspective. One of my messages to the teams, use the time, talk as much as possible to the companies, to the corporates, and also a message for the corporates. Be honest, be open, and share everything you have, because only this way they can learn from you and they can design something that will lead to big value in the end. And from there, we started developing our tool. I think one of the biggest challenges was also speaking the same language. We have never heard of a polymer before Futury. So we first of all had to learn all of the basics, like what is recyclability actually? What does it really mean? Getting this very specific knowledge to make sure we do not only, design a very fancy prototype, but we need knowledge in there. We need to think it through. It needs to really also speak the same language as the industry does. And I think there was also kind of a clash because the corporates also had to speak the same language as we do, because we thought in very we thought in software ways, we thought about an app, we thought about decision trees, stuff like that. And well, the corporates were basically working with Excel. So we also had to make sure they understand and speak our language. And there we really had to come together in the first time. So that's, I think, your next steps after the kickoff now, coming together and trying to speak the same language. And yeah, the interim then came up. It came so quickly. There is not a lot of time for you. So I think take the time, take every single day, and take the motivation and the adrenaline you have right now to push forward and make the most of your time. Because I think the interim for us was kind of like the final already, because there we decided this has a lot of value. We're going to continue as a team. We're going to use this time here to connect also to the corporates and build relationships to keep on working afterwards. And that's what we did. We decided to, after the final, to work with the corporate partners together very, very closely. We designed a Futury 2.0, so to say, a project where we brought corporates together to further develop our solution. Because of course we only had a prototype, but we needed more than that. We even managed to get 2 competitors on this project, which just shows how sustainability goals can also bring the industry together and bring corporates together and teams. And yeah, that's how we started then after Futury. It was a tough time also, I must say. It was not easy to leave this playground, the safe place, because of course at Futury it was amazing. We always had Vanessa to talk to. We had also the other project managers. We had the other teams to talk to get their experience, their feedback, their perspective, and so on. And then we just had to leave this safe place and stand on our own feet. And that was definitely tough in the beginning, but we took every single learning from the Futury time and kept working with this. And I think this really helped us to manage to survive in the real world, to manage to survive in negotiations with clients, and also to keep on working with the corporates we already had. And we're still working with them today in even bigger projects, and there's more to come. And even more clients have now joined our journey, and we always approach them in the same way, to be partners, not only clients, but to work together on this topic of sustainability. So I think my message is make the most of this time, enjoy it as much as you can, and develop something you love from both sides. So for the corporates, bring in everything you have. This is your chance to solve your problems. This is something where you can really also build up a team and give them what they need in order to design something that will be very valuable to you in the end. And for the teams, use this time to create your own baby that you believe in and that can bring value to the world, to the corporates, and to yourselves.
Wow, Vivian, what a wonderful ending. So nice. Thank you so much for all the insights. And I hope this was helpful for the teams, and you listened in. And you know as well that you have some good advice in our mentors or alumni. You can approach them every day and ask them for, I think I'm a little bit in the echo, for their advice. So Vivian, thank you very much for joining and sharing your thoughts. I think this was quite helpful, and wishing you a great day, and hopefully to see you soon back in, hopefully in person in the Tech Quartier.
I hope so. Thank you.
Thanks, Vivi. Okay, so we're coming to the end. It looks like we're now speed it up a little bit, and we will finalize early in time, but I think that's okay. A little bit chaotic today, but hopefully we manage still quite well. So what's ahead? And you have seen this slide at the beginning, but I thought it's good to put it up again. So onboarding week is done. So we're now in the kickoff, so that's today. So tomorrow, okay, there's something else in the screen. So tomorrow we will have our corporate partners together doing deep dives with the team. So hopefully you already make some notes because everything, all your thoughts on the ideas, your concerns, your pluses, your minuses, whatever, will be used and quite helpful tomorrow. So tomorrow, Julia set already up our interactive deep dive sessions. So that will happen tomorrow. Tomorrow we're also going to talk about values because values are quite important during that journey. Especially in an open innovation journey, certain kind of values are more important than others. So this will be it. And then officially we kind of get into the normal rhythm by next week. So for all the corporates still with us, we are going to have our first status report and call on Monday at 2 o'clock. So this is kind of the official launch then, when the teams will give an update. I will give an update where we stand, all the activities we do. The teams are sharing what kind of concerns they have, what they're working on, what they need. So this will be then the rhythm for the next weeks and month. These teams will also looking into, and we heard this now, looking back at the beginning of today, about user research and the need. So all of our teams will run through the process of figuring out if there is a real need, because that's one of the major reasons why startups or ideas fail, because there is no need. And you can only find out the need if you talk to potential customers and clients. So that will be the focus for the next weeks, that people really find out of the teams, is there a need of their idea? And if there's a need, what kind of need and how you maybe can adjust to it. So customer research, user research, market as well, like what's out there in the market again. And then like a first prototype the teams are going to develop. And then, as mentioned, we are going to see back at the interim pitch, which is the second key milestone. It will be 31st of March. It will be again, in brackets, unfortunately, in a live stream event. We were trying to have that session and then physically in Düsseldorf at the Handelsblatt, because the Handelsblatt originally invites us to join them for the interim pitch. But due to the current situation, we will not be able to do this. So it will be streamed out again of the studio here. Once we are done this, then there's a little bit of an Easter break. And then we look into prototyping more, defining the business model, which is quite important. We heard this also from Giuseppe and others. So what's kind of the business model and how to make money with this is also a crucial fact, not only the need. And then we're also looking into quite urgent or like early in the follow-on planning, because this 3 months will happen quite quickly. And then, as Vivian just mentioned, then there's kind of we are out of the safe environment. So we want to make sure that that safe environment kind of follows on a little bit, and we make sure that teams can follow on their work. So that's, we're starting off at least 2 weeks before the final pitch. And then the final pitch will be mid of May. So 11th of May, and hopefully, and we're currently planning with it, it will be at our premium partner SEAT, and I guess then in Darmstadt/Weiterstadt. So we'll cross all fingers that we can make that work. And then unfortunately, time flies. The program is already done. So that's kind of what's ahead, where we came from. So there's just one thing to say. A big thank you to everyone, especially, of course, to our corporate partners who are joining that mission, who are with us, and who support the teams. And I can see from your feedbacks already that there's lots of engagement, interest in reaching out and discussing and sharing everything you know about the area and the space. So thank you very much for having you. Second, I would like to thank the teams. I know very well how that is. That's the 5th mission. You only had 1.5 days, not even. I mean, at the end, you just had like a week maybe to kind of sort yourself out, work on an idea, and also realize, okay, the idea you're presenting now might change again, or you do another ideation, because corporate partners will feed back. There will be new input or insights coming. You might rechange again. So there's lots of flexibility also, required from your end to being part of that mission. Plus the fact you need to navigate in the team, need to get to know the other people in the team, how to interact with Futury, how to interact with corporate partners. So big thank you that you managed so far so well. And lastly, I want to thank, as always, the Futury team for making that happen. It's always quite some effort and organization to put this all up, to bring this all together, to have everyone briefed when to come in and what to say. So big thank you to Futury team, and in specific to Julia, who is the project manager on the ground, and this was for Julia, who put quite some effort into this to make that wonderful day happen. Alrighty, so 10 minutes in time before. So I hope you enjoyed the 2.5, 3 hours with us, besides all the complications we had in the live stream who kind of crashed. We'll try to make that work next time better. But thank you very much for everyone. Enjoy your lunch break and the last 2 days of the week, and see you around partially already tomorrow, quite in time, or the others on Monday or the other days soon. So all the best to everyone out of Frankfurt, and have a great day. Bye.